For quite some time now, indie games seem to be the last bastion for creativity in video games. This is because, quite simply, they cost less money to make, and there is nobody in a suit telling the developers what they can and can't do with their game. An indie developer's imagination is the only limit to their creativity. And here's a secret that AAA developers don't seem to understand in 2025. Creativity isn't always coming up with new ideas. Often, it's taking ideas that exist, taking the ones that work, dropping the ones that don't, and combining winning ingredients to make a winning game. This is exactly what Void Games have done to make Katanaut. But is this mixture of game mechanics a winning recipe, or would it have found itself being kicked out of Hell's Kitchen by Gordon Ramsay? I'm Mr. Lova Lova. This is High Scores, High Stakes. Let's review Katanaut. Before we get into the review, I just want to say that I was given a review code for Katanaut, but I was not told what to say, nor how to say it. Nobody has seen this video. Nobody has asked me to make any changes. All the opinions are mine. They are true and they are honest at the time I played the game. So with all that being said, let's get into the review. Katanaut is a game that wears its inspirations on its sleeves for everybody to see. It is a mixture of genres. It is a 2D Metroidvania, roguelite, cosmic horror, samurai, melee action platformer with Souls-like combat. It is a mouthful, but my god, if it isn't cool as hell. The story is as follows. You are a space samurai called Naut, who lives on a space station that has fallen into some sort of cosmic meltdown. All the inhabitants have been transformed into Dead Space-esque body horrors, and large, Souls-like cosmic bosses have made their station their home, and they are very, very angry. Your job is to battle your way through the station, getting deeper and closer, both physically and metaphorically, to uncovering what has happened. Throughout your journey to the depths of the ship, you'll meet survivors and you will bring them back to your control room, where they will give you permanent upgrades to your gear, your skills, and your movement option. Gameplay in Katanaut is fast, it's fluid, it's satisfying, and it's totally built around two core pillars: movement and combat. Combat is a surprising mix of classic shinobi-style hack and slash, roguelike use of skills, passives, orbitals, and the mechanical precision of Salt and Sanctuary. Hack and slash mindlessly will only get you so far in Katanaut. At some point, you will have to engage with the parry system, or leaning into moving whilst attacking and using a combination of all three all at once. It is a combat system that is beautifully simple, yet offers enough depth in its mechanics, its build options, and its injections that make you stronger. And it has a complexity if you really, really, really want to get into the weeds and ultimately get good. Movement is handled like any 2D Metroidvania. It offers tight control that is predictable and reliable. Every death you have in Katanaut, and don't get me wrong, you will die a lot, will feel like your fault. And I can assure you that it will be your fault. There are combat moves that you can unlock that enhance your movement options as well. And there are injections that can make you jump higher, jump further, make you stronger, make you attack with more powerful moves. Again, it's a beautiful system that's simple but has depth and has complexity should you want it. The gameplay, like any good roguelite, is one of repetition. Start a run, Pray to RNGesus for good luck and go until you die. Every death brings with it knowledge, be it knowledge of enemy types, how to deal with enemies, locations, or even permanent upgrades. The run that follows that death is made that little bit easier because of your experience and the knowledge you've gained, and hopefully the skills and permanent upgrades you've collected along the way in that first run. The basic layout of the station will remain constant. You'll start in the living quarters and make your way down into the bowels of the station. However, every run in classic roguelite fashion is unique. Enemy types change, their placement change, items change, their placements change. Upgrades, you'll get a choice of 3 picked at random. NPCs can appear in random places, and if your luck is totally out, you may just fall victim to a cosmic horror. This is an enemy in a level that is totally unkillable and will hunt you down relentlessly. And the only way you can get out of this cosmic horror is by finding and interacting with the blood altar. Every time a cosmic horror appears, it is panic inducing because it has the potential to end a really great run. But it is a great change of pace. It robs the player of all this, potentially of all the skills they've accrued, all the weapons they've accrued, but it also makes them feel powerless. Katanaut is a tough game. It's not easy, but it's not the hardest game I've ever played. It took me about 2 hours to get to grips with the systems and to get to the end of my first cycle. But this is only the beginning. With each successful completion of a cycle, you can go to the next cycle. And that means that the difficulty goes up and you go again. Each cycle brings with it its own unique challenges. Drip feeds you more and more gear, content, story. The difficulty curve of these cycles is pretty well thought out as well. Everything gets gradually more dangerous every cycle. You won't complete a cycle and go into the next cycle and suddenly find yourself getting annihilated by a basic enemy in the first screen. It goes up gradually and it's a really nice curve. Graphically, I have no idea how Voidmaw got this game looking so good. For those of you who don't know, Voidmaw is another solo developer. The pixel art in Katanaut is extremely detailed. You can make out everything that you need to make out. At a glance, nothing blends into the backgrounds. Enemies are horrific looking body horrors that would be right at home in Dead Space, and bosses that are gloriously reminiscent of Bloodborne bosses. They are absolutely grotesque aberrations. Not a pixel goes to waste in Katanaut. Every sprite in the game is extremely detailed. The animations are beautiful. Even when there's tons and tons of stuff going on, this game looks incredible. And like every really good game, there is so many small little details that help elevate the entire experience. The locations, the space station captures the vibes of a neon-soaked cyberpunk-esque decrepit space station with subtle little hints to science fiction of the 80s and 90s, things like aliens. And that really, the overall look of Katanaut really sells the conceit to the player. And the way that as you go through the levels, taking out uncountable number of monsters, the level becomes covered in blood, and it is a really incredible sight to behold. Katanaut is a truly excellent game. Massively impressive debut from a solo developer. There is a lot to love here, but it is not a perfect game. The bosses and basically any larger enemy will give the player so little feedback on damage they're taking. They don't recoil, they don't fall backwards, you can't push them back. The only visual cue you get that you're actually doing damage to these things, other than the life bar depleting on top of the screen, is that they will flash red for a moment or two. I just wish there was more visceral feedback from the combat in this game. And finally, Again, I played every minute of this game on my Steam Deck, and it was flawless. Absolutely flawless. Before it was patched, I did have slowdown if I was using a lot of orbitals and passive buffs and stuff, but Voidmaw has patched some of the issues I've had out. So it's now essentially flawless on the Steam Deck. So Deckers, rejoice, you have another banging game to play on your Steam Deck. Overall, Katanaut is an excellent game. So that means it's time to place it on the high scores, high stakes tier list. Remember, S tier is incredible, A tier is great, B tier is good, C tier is average, and D tier is bad. All this being said, I have absolutely no qualms with putting Katanaut in the A tier. Katanaut is a great game, and it is one of the best games I have played in 2025. With all that being said, I have nothing left to say, except I've been Mr. Lova Lova. This has been High Scores, High Stakes. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. Bye.